You know that feeling when it's about to rain and you can feel a change in the air, but it hasn't actually started raining yet? That's what it feels like right now when I'm looking at the news. And something feels like it's just about to get significantly different in Iran with Iran and Israel's war. I don't perceive the same on the Israeli side from Iran, but I do perceive it from Israel to Iran. Okay, Israel yesterday eliminated a top Iranian nuclear scientist in Tehran who specialized in nuclear weapons, according to the Wall Street Journal. The apartment where he was killed was a secret safe house where he'd been relocated for protection as a possible Israeli assassination. Looks like somebody underestimated the reach of the Mossad. And look at that. I mean, that's some precision there hitting where it is and taking him out, not destroying the rest of the building. According to Iranian media, a radar site in the Golan Heights was targeted by Iranian missiles, and a damage assessment is still ongoing. Now, again, Israel's being hit. There's no doubt about that. But this idea that you're hearing like a third of the city or something, that's nonsense. Yeah, okay, I'll come back to that in a little bit. Web traffic from Iran cratering this morning. This was not yesterday. This was a few days back. On June 13th, I saw this. Cratering this morning as the Iranian government clamps down on internet access. Iran's Ministry of Communications confirmed that they are deploying temporary internet restrictions. It's weird that what in Ukraine they were trying to do was keep the internet up, and in Iran they're trying to put the internet down so that what? So that people don't revolt? I mean, like they're worried about that. The internet is slowly returning to Iran. People can call friends and family for the first time in days. Imagine how scary that must have been, right? Earlier this week, authorities cut off phone and internet access for more than 90 million people, citing cybersecurity threats from Israel. As a result, people had no idea when or where the next strike would happen, Al Jazeera reports. Afterwards, many had to wait hours or even days to find out whether their loved ones had been hurt. And how many are we talking about? The Iranian press, and I'm not sure how reliable this is, but the Iranian press is saying that the 430 people have been killed, over 3,500 injured in Iran since the start of hostilities on June 13th. I have no idea how to verify whether that's true or not. It's coming from Iranian news. Iranian sources report that around 5 million residents have fled Tehran. Remember, President Trump said, get out of Tehran? Okay. And how many are in the city? Well, it's a city of 9.6 million inhabitants. About 5 million have fled. Internet access across the country has been restricted, which meant that journalists would receive fewer videos and photos. As a result, only state television and other regime-affiliated media remain. Well, I mean, if they're not getting blown up, as you saw in that clip the other day. Okay. In just days, Israel's campaign destroyed a third of Iran's missile launchers and eliminated senior IRGC generals. Iran's Shahed drones, famous for their use by Russia against Ukraine, also proved astonishingly ineffective against Israeli defenses. Well, that doesn't surprise me, but a third of their missile launchers, like that's substantial, and they're mostly on the western side of the country, so now they can't use the short-range missiles to launch against Israel because they need to launch longer-range missiles because they had to back up. Okay, here's an Israeli strike on a Russian-made Tor M1. That's a Russian air defense system. Russia delivered the 29 Tor M1 air defense systems to Iran in 2007 under a $7 million contract signed in December of 2005. These are air defense air defense systems being blown up by aerial. Yeah, okay, so you get the idea. The Israeli army is targeting UAV depots. Now, this was one of the most recent things that I saw. I just saw this like 15 minutes before I started this. Israeli army is targeting UAV depots and weapons warehouse in southern Iran near Bandar Abbas, according to the IDF. So they keep going after military targets. Like we saw 400 and some odd killed and a few thousand wounded, but they're still going after military targets, not harassing civilians in their homes. IDF releases footage showing the aftermath of airstrikes on Iran's Isfahan nuclear facility. Now, they're not trying to blow up the facility. They are trying to damage it to the point that it's irreparable. Like that's what their goal is here. They're trying to keep the Iranian, excuse me, between saying Ukraine and Russia regularly and Iran and Israel, my tongue keeps getting tripped up, keep the Iranians from being able to use this. Here's an F-14 that was struck, and we see two more destroyed Iranian Air Force F-14s on the ground, and we see footage of Israeli Air Force destroying three more Iranian F-16s. I think that means three total, not five plus that. I think that's just three of these, but it could be more. I mean, they are going after every kind of conceivable weapon that the Iranians have. Okay. Uh, is Israel's recent military operation aimed at more than just Iran's nuclear sites? This is Radio Free Europe, and it's insightful. Let's listen to this.
What is Israel's real goal with its continued strikes on Iran? More and more we're hearing that regime change might be the aim. My colleague, our Iran expert Kian Sharifi, is here to break it down.
Israeli leaders haven't explicitly declared regime change as their goal. But the rhetoric from Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and senior officials, combined with the scale and intensity of recent operations, suggests that toppling the Islamic Republic may be an implicit or aspirational aim.
I think it is, in a sense that they're at least going to do everything to destroy that nuclear stuff. And if they can knock over the government, it's just icing on the cake. I think that's how they're processing this. But I could be wrong. Maybe they are intentional about it, but I think that's what's going on. Now, that same regime change is an issue for Trump as well. Why hasn't Trump bombed Iran yet? U.S. President Donald Trump his caution in holding back on bombing Iran stems from fears of creating another Libya, reports the New York Post, citing sources within the U.S. administration. Trump is also reportedly concerned that we might end up with someone worse than Khamenei. Well, that's going to be hard to find, but it's possible. Additionally, Telegraph writes that the UK and other European countries have made it clear to Washington that U.S. involvement in the Iran-Israel conflict could trigger a wave of T attacks from sleeper cells across Europe. And we don't know whether that'll happen or not. I mean, sleeper cells, by definition, are covert. And it's also worth noting that Iran holds hostages citizens of Western countries unjustly convicted of espionage. So I don't think that last couple are going to stop him, but I think he is weighing the calculation of what if we get something worse. And he should be taking this very, very seriously. Now, in Iran, they're worried about another color revolution, and like the Orange Revolution in Ukraine or the Rose Revolution in Georgia, or so on and so forth, right? I think a good title, or sorry, excuse me, a good color for this might be something like lavender, because it would really kind of tick off the Ayatollah if it was lavender. So whoever is in charge of that, if you can see to it. Okay. Iran's deputy foreign minister was asked a question on CNN the other day about why his government surged the production of 60% enriched uranium. He really didn't have a good answer. He said it was within his rights, but listen to this and tell me what you think.
Why did you surge production of 60% uranium to the point that you have right now between Trump's inauguration and now? Back then, you had maybe a 5 to 6 weapon capacity if you had decided to. Now, a 10 weapon capacity with these 400 kilos of 60% uranium.
Okay, the 60% uranium means like you only need like 3% uranium 3% of it enriched in order to power nuclear power plants. If you go to 60, you're a hop, skip, and a jump from 90, which is what you need for a nuclear weapon. And you're really close. And they don't need to get to 60 for nuclear power plants. So that's the background.
Inspectors were present in Iran. You know, different reports of IAEA testify the fact that we have been very, straightforward in our nuclear program. So there is no ban on 60% enriched uranium, which are being used, in different places for peaceful purposes.
Yeah, there's no ban, but it sure looks sketchy. I mean, yeah, so I think Iran was trying to get to a place where they just simply had a weapon, and then we're like, look, we got a nuke, so back off. I think that's what they were trying to get to.
something that we use. Okay, but shortly before these strikes began, that they had never before seen that amount of stockpile of that much enriched uranium by any country that does not have a nuclear weapon.
Yeah, because they don't need it. All right, let's keep going here. Something that Michael McFall wrote here was, I'm guessing Israel, American, and other intelligence agencies have such amazing intelligence on the Iranian dictatorship because so many Iranians hate the regime and are willing to help foreign spies. What do you think? I think there's two things. I think they do hate the regime, especially women. They hate the regime. And the second part is that there's pretty rampant corruption as well. So between both factors, they have pretty good intelligence, more than likely. Okay, something's going down. I don't know exactly what. U.S. Air Force air bridge across the Atlantic continues tonight with at least 7 C-17 Globemasters and Galaxy, one CM-5 Galaxy hauling cargo eastbound to Europe. Now, that could be for something that's just taking place, a training exercise, or it could be that there's more to it. Like, let me show you some of the more to it. So here's Lagjes Air Base, a key mid-Atlantic stopping over point for U.S. aircraft heading to and from Europe and beyond is absolutely packed. New images, 12 U.S. Air Force tankers sitting on the ramp, and massive ongoing airlift to the Middle East continues. Here is Saudi Arabia. At least U.S. coalition forces have built up a massive presence at Saudi Arabia's Prince Sultan Air Base as war with Iran looms. At least 20 new aerial refueling tankers have arrived at the airbase since early this month, along with 40 new F-15 and F-16 fighters. Okay, so something's going down. B-2 bombers en route to base in Guam amid tense relations between Israel and Iran. Like that, it's all over. And this is like real news. USA Today, New York Times, Fox, Reuters, you see it. I mean, it's there. And that's where a launching point may very well be. So something's happening. Okay. Meanwhile, Matt Gaetz was the attorney general pick that was disgraced. He dropped out of Congress and then for attorney general, and then dropped out of that race because it wasn't going to happen because of ethics charges. He says if both nations are hiding nuclear weapons programs, that's Israel and Iran, they should both give them up. Okay. I mean, Matt, really? I mean, I don't even know what to say to this. This is just, he's all MAGA all the time, and just, it's bad. And then I showed this earlier, but Preston Stewart, it's worth showing again. Preston Stewart posted this. There it is. Now, Douglas McGregor said, don't be fooled. Israel is in worse shape than people think. About a third of Tel Aviv has been damaged or destroyed. I don't see evidence of that. Preston Stewart said, there it is. I was seeing a strange amount of comments on my videos today saying 1/3 of Tel Aviv was destroyed. Couldn't figure out where that assessment was coming from, even as Iranian state media isn't claiming that. Even Iranian media isn't claiming that. So beware of folks like this that are just really lopsided. Look for people that are going to give you both sides, including like the warts of the side that you care about. All right, last little bit, we'll leave you with this. Jackson Hinkle never saw a dirty regime that he didn't like. Here's Iran with a heart. Really? For this guy? That's interesting. Jackson Hinkle. Well, it's Scott Ritter, Jackson Hinkle, Douglas McGregor. They're all going to be saying that same kind of thing. Okay, my friends, that's all that I have. I'll keep you updated on what's going on. Thank you for the time, the likes, the shares, and the subscribes. And thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.